Since the late 19th century, no mythical creature has fascinated man and dominated folklore as much as Dracula, an elegant, blood-sucking fiend who sleeps in a coffin by day and seeks prey by night. There have been endless perceptions of vampires through literature into film, from the silent film Nosferatu to the latest depiction in Twilight. But have vampires changed for the better? Are they as bloodthirsty as they once were? Are they just full of homoerotic connotations? Does the mere thought of Dracula send shivers of terror or excitement down your spine? Have we forgotten the most important aspect of vampires? That they're not real.
The first depictions of the vampire were in folklore, but they're really not vampires as we know them. They're more like kind of shambling zombies, people who had misbehaved in life and then were resurrected as these kind of nasty, decaying ghouls who would basically go around and kill people who were reputed to sort of decimate whole villages. But they didn't turn people into vampires, they just brought death. But the vampire as we know the vampire as a kind of seductive aristocrat, that's a literary creation from the 19th century.
An immortal with fangs that sucks people's blood.
Very sharp teeth, usually fangs or something.
An undead person.
Blood-sucking demon.
Mutant, freaky thing.
I think if you look at the successive adaptations of Dracula that have been done over the last century, then you realise that the vampire is gradually getting more and more romanticised. You start out with Nosferatu in 1922, where he's really like a folklore vampire. He's very rat-like, he's shambling, he's ugly, he's diseased. You end up with Gary Oldman in the 92 Coppola Dracula, and he's a romantic hero. He takes Winona Ryder out on dates. He feeds her absinthe, he takes her for dinner, he doesn't just bite her, he kind of romances her first. And he's really as close as a hero, I think, as you can get Dracula to. He dies at the end, but you feel really bad for him first.
I think vampires have become more human.
As a film point of view, they used to be quite bland and not very much emotion, but now, like with Interview Vampires, like flooding out with emotion. Like sorrow and stuff, and pain, and Twilight as well, because he's in love and what.
Vampires used to be portrayed as very evil, dreadful monsters, and now they can be viewed as being, there are some vampires which are actually quite nice and like to interact with humans.
I think they've gotten a better press. There's a lot more hero vampires than they used to always be the villains, and now they're the heroes.
I think then they were evil and they were just going to kill people, and now there's a bit more sort of story to them.
I think they're sexy. I think there's just something sexy and mysterious and a little bit dangerous about them.
Kind of cool and all like hip, and they're usually loaded and good looking, so.
Shredded garlic, just fry it on him. Yeah, that should do the trick. Melt him to the ground.
Steak it, put it in the sun, fry it.
You shine light at them, and so they can't go out in daytime. There's always that thing about garlic.
I think that they've taken the image of the vampire as a Byronic hero and a romantic hero about as far as you can do. I think the two things that are most likely to happen now are firstly that people will take the mickey. I mean, Stephanie Meyer's vampires are so over the top, sort of romantic and idealised, they sparkle in the sunlight. It really kind of leaves itself open for mockery. And the second thing that will happen is that people are so used to this romanticised kind of heroic vampire now that I think the first instinct of a lot of people is to go off and create a really scary vampire that will be absolutely sort of terrifying and frightening and not romantic or attractive at all.
Human blood isn't that great, it's alright, but you know. Don't want to mention some of the years, like, well, you know, the 80s. To be honest though, I use garlic quite a lot in my cooking, so I like to sprinkle it on my victims. Write that down.